Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be another theory video. I'm going to be discussing Crash Bandicoot's hammer space in this video. If you're not sure as to what hammer space is, let me read a little blurb for you to explain it. Hammer space, also known as mallet space, is a fan-envisioned, extra-dimensional, instantly accessible storage area in fiction, which is used to explain how animated, comic, or game characters can produce objects out of thin air. So just think, you need a hammer, you pull a hammer out of nowhere. But I think Crash's pants pocket actually contain hammer space. I think that there's an extra dimensional size storage in Crash Bandicoot's pants because he can pull out all sorts of stuff, and I think there might actually be some lore behind these pants. Stick with me. I'm going to show you the instances of Crash's hammer space throughout the series. I'll explain what game it is and what's going on. So first we have Crash Bandicoot 1, where Crash has an infinite amount of Wumpa fruit. So as you can see, Crash pulls a Wumpa fruit out of his pocket, throws it up into the air, and then it lands on his head and smashes, and all the purple juice gets all over him. So he's not just pulling out the same Wumpa fruit over and over and juggling it and juggling it. He can literally pull out an infinite number of Wumpa fruits because it's his idle animation. So the longer you leave Crash sitting there, the more Wumpa fruit he can pull out of his pocket. So that's the first instance of hammer space in the Crash series. Moving ahead, we have in Crash Bandicoot Warped, Crash reaching into his pocket again. And he pulls out a yo-yo. That might not seem like that big of a deal because, yeah, it's just a yo-yo in his pocket. But let me show you something else that Crash manages to pull out of his pocket in Crash Bandicoot Warped. I had to do multiple screen caps of this because it happens almost instantaneous and you'd miss it. So I took some screen caps of this one. This is Crash pulling out his Wumpa bazooka. He's reaching into his pocket. He pulls out a small, tiny bazooka, and it gradually grows larger. And there you have it. He pulled a bazooka out of his pocket. Look at how small his pants are, and look at the size of that bazooka. He pulled bazooka out of his pocket, he pulled the yo-yo out of his pocket, and he has an infinite amount of Wumpa fruit in his pocket. But that's not the end. Crash continues to use hammer space as the games progress. In Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex, he also has an infinite amount of Wumpa fruit. He pulls the Wumpa fruit out of his pocket, plays a little trick with it, and then throws it away and it bounces away. So again, infinite amount of Wumpa fruit. Now we're going to jump into the Game Boy Advance games. Crash pulled a Game Boy Advance out of his pocket, and you know what? That Game Boy Advance was pretty big, and I don't think it would fit in that pocket. So then we're going to move on to Crash Tag Team Racing. Crash has an infinite amount of chickens that are also in his pants. So his hammer space just keeps on reoccurring throughout the franchise. He has unlimited Wumpa fruit, unlimited chickens. He's got his yo-yo, a bazooka, Game Boy Advance. And believe me when I say this, there are more examples of his hammer space. Let me show you the next clip. And now here is Crash of the Titans for the Game Boy Advance. Crash has an unlimited amount of Wumpa Whip pies. I say Wumpa Whip because like whipped cream, but it's not the Wumpa Whip from Crash Tag Team Racing. But he has an unlimited amount of pies that he can pull out of his pants. And then that brings us to the most recent game in the franchise, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. And the hammer space isn't that crazy in this game, because he's just pulling out a cell phone. But I just wanted to show it regardless. And that's all the instances of Crash's idle animations where he actually pulls things out of his hammer space. However, there's one more example that I have to show you guys. It's from Crash Thumpin' Wumpa Island from Skylanders Imaginators. So that's all the instances of Crash Bandicoot showing his hammer space. He pulled TNT crates out of nowhere. He's pulling these TNT crates out of his pockets. Doesn't make sense. Hammer space is a thing. However, I think there might actually be an explanation as to Crash's hammer space. So, I'm going to play a clip from, it's just audio, an audio clip from Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, from the flashback tapes. Check it out. There's an actual origin to Crash's pants. Check this out. Listen to what Cortex says in the flashback tape.
It appears my old shorts fit the subject splendidly. I miss those shorts. So breezy. Oodles of room in the air. Never mind.
So, as you can see, Cortex gave those pants to Crash Bandicoot. And he says there's oodles of space in the never mind. Clearly he's saying it as a joke. It's like a joke. There's plenty of space in the crotch area. But the fact that Crash got these pants from Cortex, and Cortex said there is so much space, quote unquote, in the So, if the theory is true, I think Cortex designed these pants specifically with hammer space in them so he could store all sorts of things. And now that Crash owns his old jeans, now Crash possesses the infinite hammer space that Cortex used to possess. So, that's pretty much how the entire theory goes. I know it's all based off a joke, and hammer space is just accepted as being that, hammer space. But I think it would be really neat if it's ever touched up upon in the franchise, that it's explained scientifically, like Cortex has a little pocket dimension that's connected to the pockets of the pants. But now I'm just rambling. That's the whole point of the video. I already got my point out there. If you guys agree with it, let me know. If you disagree, also let me know. If you think it's funny, let me know. I appreciate every one of you guys watching and commenting and subscribing and all that great stuff. I really like sharing Crash Bandicoot theories and my opinions on things in the Crash Bandicoot franchise. So if you enjoyed this video, I post at least one video every week about Crash Bandicoot lore or theories of my own. Sometimes history lessons on specific aspects of the franchise, like I did a Pocket Station video. I'm going to be doing one on the manga. So if you enjoy content like that, throw me a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have a great night.